He's coming.
You were saying you finished the film just recently, or you finished like?
We did. We finished the film
okay.
just recently, and just got all of our files delivered very recently. For home video and stuff. So yeah, it's fun to be like talking about the project so soon thereafter finishing it. But we've been in it.
Yeah, no. Well, you guys started shooting in like February, if I'm not mistaken. So could you talk a bit about that quick turnaround time? Because that's kind of insane.
Yeah, it was really quick. So we started shooting February 1st, and we wrapped early April, and we were really excited to hit a Halloween release, but it meant we had to work fast. So without jeopardizing any quality. So we've just been doing long days and nights and really spending so much time crafting this story.
Why do you think Five Nights at Freddy's has like endured after like all of these years? Because that's kind of unusual for something that started out as like a mobile game to have this like insane fandom and to still resonate with a lot of kids. So I just kind of curious on your take on that.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's to have lasted this or retained this level of popularity for this long, but also to still be bringing in new fans now. We've got like older, fans that have been playing the game, for 10 years now and are in their 30s and have families. And we had some amazing gamers come visit set, and they were all older, but this is still such a huge part of their lives. And then the younger fans that are, really discovering it now, or even too young to play it, but are watching YouTubers play it, and that's kind of their like first entry into it. It's incredible. It's really intergenerational, and I feel like with the movie adaptation, we also had that opportunity to make an intergenerational event. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think what you're able to do, which I imagine was pretty difficult, was because of, one of the big parts of Five Nights at Freddy's is just the sheer amount of lore associated with it. So distilling that down into just like a very like palatable thing. Can you talk about some of the challenges maybe in doing that in order to get that accessibility for cross generations?
I think one of the key things was working with Scott Cawthon to figure out what elements of the lore we were going to incorporate, and alongside talking about what film we wanted to create and storylines and characters that were new to the fan base, or expanded in a new way. So having his input in terms of what the fan base would respond to well has been really essential. But I think you landed on something there, which is like, there is so much lore. It's massive. We could never include it in just one film. Yeah. I'm sure we couldn't even include it in 10 films. It goes on and on and on. And I think that's what really keeps the franchise going, is there's always something for the fan base to keep talking about and keep theorizing about. And that seems to be the thing, certainly what I'm looking forward to and seeing this in theaters, is like seeing everyone talk about it as they're watching it, even, because I think there's so much there to digest and keep talking about. So I think it's the conversations that keep the one of the things that keeps the franchise going so strong for so long.
Yeah, for sure. And then also whenever you're adapting, a video game, it's always hard to kind of translate that idea of play, because it is like such like an interactive experience. And something, and I don't know if this was intentional, but something that I kind of picked up on was with Mike, the way that he's kind of poring over his dreams and his memories, kind of looking for the clues and everything like that. It sort of felt like a reflection of like a lot of the people who play the games, who are like poring over these details, trying to connect the pieces and figure it all out. And was that something that was intentional when you were, going through? And
no, that's a great through line. I hadn't made that direct connection, but I think in terms of discovering new details and clues and figuring out how you can then alter the course of something is very participatory. And I think, the game itself feels so immersive, and I definitely wanted the approach of the film to feel equally immersive through the eyes of and experience of Mike. So So yeah, everything you're saying really resonates.
The other thing that I was really struck by was the whole the dream theory aspect of it. With Mike sort of dealing with his own personal trauma at a young age. That was not something that I expected getting in this film, and I'm kind of curious if you could talk about the decision to sort of explore that, to explore someone's childhood trauma, and then sort of see him come to terms with that literally, and with like the Chuck E. Cheese pizza parlor sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, we know with the world of Freddy's, we are seeing our characters walk into basically a haunted house, like this haunted closed pizzeria.
Yeah.
But with the character of Mike, he's really haunted himself and internally, and through that dreamscape, we get to see what he's going through in terms of his past trauma with him and in real time, and not just in memory form. Even though the dreams are spawned from a memory, they're changing, and being in Freddy's is altering them, and we get to see. Is this a spoiler alert, or am I allowed to do a spoiler alert?
Well, sure, yeah, you can do a spoiler.
We'll get to see elements of the that are taken from Freddy's into his dream now. So anyway, it's ever evolving, which is cool.
And then also kind of on that same idea of images that's present throughout the film, I think what I really liked early on was his conversation about not feeling like a fit guardian, and then learning to understand the power of images at a young age. And I'm kind of curious for you, as a filmmaker, your job is obviously to present a sequence of images that do just that, to allow us to interpret the world around us, and specifically the story you're telling.
Yeah.
How does that responsibility affect how you prioritize the images you choose to kind of like showcase, you select, It
kind of operates on a couple of different levels. One is really making sure that the visual language is helping us get inside the characters' perspectives and experience, and really making us connected to them. I think without that connection, going on the journey is, lacks in attachment and emotion. So that's always the first priority for me. And then, I think beyond that, we really felt like there was an opportunity for there to be some iconic imagery coming out of this film, as inspired by the franchise, and certainly with the animatronics and the world of the pizzeria. So I wanted it to be beautiful and creepy at all times, and I think the care and attention that we took to all the detail and the craftsmanship hopefully comes through in a really tactile way.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that was one of the things that struck me, was just like the actual animatronics and the physical, the sets and everything like that. I want to ask about bringing on the Newton brothers for the collaboration here, because I am a massive fan of their music. I think obviously their work with Mike Flanagan and Beyond and everything like that. Can you talk a bit about like how you got them involved, what they brought to the table, and all that? Yeah.
They came on board and really added something to the movie that we so desperately needed, and I knew there was just going to be like a whole dimension of the film that was going to be felt as soon as the music was put in, and of course that happens on every film. The music is a huge part of it, of course, but I think for this we were towing that line of scares and creepiness, and also heart and wonderment, and I can't think of a better two composers to do that tonal blend and do it so well. And I think we've walked away with some tunes and themes that kids will be singing walking away from the theater too, which is also very exciting, because that felt like a huge opportunity as well, and they just hit it out of the park.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and then also congrats on the film. It was great to see this, like after all this time, finally come to the big screen.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.